This is a bit of a kick in the teeth for Meghan Markle from His Majesty the King. Oh yes, she's not happy and believes that things could have been radically different in a relationship between King Charles III and herself. I mean, what's wrong? Why wouldn't you want to do this? A struggling BPID actress, of course, in a soap opera against this particular individual. As ever, let me explain. Morning, nice to see you, chums. Thank you for joining me as ever. And as ever, thank you for supporting all the videos. I truly am grateful for your support, honestly. It's very, very kind. And I'm glad that, many of you like to interact with certain stories. Some, of course, cause a spike, some don't. I love it the way that people sort of have an opinion and then decide to get a little bit, so say, salty with their language. It's not clever. You just think in the end, look, we're all allowed an opinion. I like to be impartial, bring you the stories each side. I can only report what I find out. And as many know, I have excellent contacts in many, many different fields. It's a little bit like this particular story, right? This is one that I find fascinating because up until recently, I got no idea just how desperate, one might say, Meghan Markle was to ingratiate herself inside the inner circle of the British monarchy. We all knew, sorry, we haven't had a wave, have we? Nice to see you. Sorry, you're going to tell me off. But we all knew, didn't we, that she was desperate to get really chummy with our late monarch, Queen Elizabeth II. And what was interesting about Meghan's ideas were monetisation, paying for the inner circle of things like trooping the colour, that sort of stuff, But now, according to an excellent source, Meghan and Harry are literally steaming, furious, and about to blow a gasket. This is because it's now just been released that His Majesty the King is actually moving into the world of television. We know that he's done this on many different occasions, but this time teaming up with the international former footballer, that is David Beckham, soon to be knighted, and Sir David Beckham. Some might say the replacement son for, yes, that's right, Prince Harry. Now, this is a documentary all about charitable work and all of that sort of stuff, and it's going to be made by Amazon, and most of the production later this year, and then going to be released in the early part of 2026. Why is that a problem? Well, you see, Meghan Markle, when she was hoofing around, if you remember, trying to hook up with Bob Iger at this particular premiere with Disney, she was trying to get a deal, not just necessarily for herself, but an idea that she could present to His Majesty the King, an idea about something they could appear in together. You see, Meghan saw the value of King Charles very early on, half walking her down the aisle, making sure, of course, that he was left standing because, well, she was far more important than that. You get the picture. And the idea really was that she felt if she could come up with something, well, this might work. Apparently, according to that source, well, Harry and her both sort of intimated that they'd like to work on something together. And there was a lot of rumblings of, well, maybe yes, and the time's not right, etc. Now, one might say this is a couple of years down the line and things change and all that sort of stuff. But you see, what Meghan wants, Meghan gets, as Harry famously said. And here's where this gets interesting, because obviously the thorn in the side is the fact that he's now teamed up with someone that they consider to be a A1 rival, the person that they don't speak to anymore, because according to Meghan, she felt that, of course, she'd helped the Beckhams become in the inner circle of the British monarchy. You get the picture. Now, as I said, Harry and Meghan are struggling with content, with Netflix, with Polo, which was an utter flop, all that sort of stuff. We know that Harry initially had the idea about inviting certain members, and he thought even His Majesty the King might want to contribute to Polo. I kid you not, even after all of this, but no, there was just utter silence. Meghan now believes that this is a full-on snub because, well, didn't she come up with this idea a few years back? Wouldn't this have cemented a better working royal relationship? Even if she, get this, was being allowed to interview him about his thoughts for the monarchy, the ideas that he had for the future, all about charitable work, of course, cementing her in that frame. Now, if he was going to do something like that, I was told that the person he would sit down with would be none other than Catherine, the Princess of Wales. She's no desire to become a TV star, wanting the work to speak for herself rather than be the focus of attention. Not like that with Meghan. And this particular, well, shall we say, breaking story of Beckham and the King just cements exactly why Meghan Markle over in Montecito has been left steaming once again. Which way do you see it? Neil Sean, Kensington, London.